Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Crazy news again. No surprises, really. Just can't believe they. So I just saw that Trump on Twitter had just posted. So I'll go through the news here real quick, but just to kind of start it off here. So Donald Trump just tweeted 4 minutes ago. The Wall Street Journal story on the China deal is completely wrong, especially their statement on tariffs. Fake news. They should find a better leaker. Okay, so where do we begin here? So basically yesterday we all know kind of what happened, right? So they come out and say that the Phase 1 deal is being signed, yada. Kind of called BS on it from the beginning, as I have every other time. I did expect them to, at least was anticipating them to call off to delay the tariffs for this weekend. Definitely saw that as something that was probably happening. So now they're backtracking because China was silent all night about it, so it was a little bit weird. And then it kind of came out that they were saying that there was a bunch of stuff still in there that wasn't right, that it had to be the perfect deal. And this is all being leaked from China, so it wasn't actually any of the official Chinese, because they have like a whole team, right? Like an entire like trade negotiation team for this whole fiasco that's been going on. So it's going to be interesting what comes out the rest of today, going into the weekend, especially since those tariffs are supposed to come out on Sunday, right? So yeah, the whole fake news thing is just so ridiculous. Oh my gosh. But so basically what happened is, so global markets are soaring to fresh weekly highs and pointing to new record highs in the U.S. following two developments. So first, the reports late Thursday and overnight indicate President Trump signed off on a Phase 1 trade deal, averting the December 15th trade line for a new wave of U.S. tariffs against China, and a deal that includes a promise by the Chinese to buy more U.S. agriculture goods, while existing duties on Chinese products may be reduced. The terms were agreed, but the text has not yet been finalized. There has been nothing confirmed to this point by the Chinese side, and reports say an announcement will be made today. So then we get that leak from China early on that first dip, and you can kind of see it right here. This is candle right here on the 30-minute. This is where that had just happened just a little bit ago this morning. And then you get the Trump tweet saying fake news, that they had it wrong. Now, also looking at this, so there is China is holding a press conference, which actually starts right at 9:30, right when the markets open. Ironic? Probably not. So there's all of that happening, and then on top of it, there was the UK vote last night. So second was the UK Prime Minister, Boris Johnson's Conservative Party has won Britain's crunch election and gained a decisive majority as voters backed his pledge to get Brexit done. Conservatives secure the highest majority of any government since Tony Blair's Labour Party in 2001, as Conservatives upped their presence in Parliament by 47 seats to 364, while Labour lost 59 seats to 203. Following the election results, the British pound surged over 1.8%, and actually we were watching that in Discord, and it went up over 2% there. It just jumped right over. So that also was kind of where we then opened back up, and we got this nice big gap up, and then it kind of held that all night. And then we get this leak coming out. Then they kind of pulled back, saying that they thought things were going to be okay, and then this is where this is just falling apart, and especially after Trump just comes out with that tweet saying it's all wrong. So then that's where we're getting this next big bottomed out here. So you can also see here in the futures, you can see that it dipped, and then they were starting to buy it back, and then now it's just falling apart, especially after that Trump tweet. So it's, that's the name of the game. You can also see on the bonds starting to be bought back up. Same with gold. Gold had actually held its gains yesterday, even through all of the record highs. It was actually holding up pretty high. So being a divergence there, a bearish divergence, and then it lost a little bit of the gains early this morning, and it's already being bought back up. So it's almost already bought back to where it lost. Also, palladium overnight was hitting up to its record highs, so that doesn't have as much to do with gold being a divergence, but it is something that I watch because I do play the ETF PALL, which is palladium's ETF. That's ticker symbol PALL. So you can see bonds being bought up. You can see the market kind of falling apart here this morning. So we are now in the red from yesterday's high. So we're now down 375 off of yesterday's close. So I posted some of the event calendar for today in the Discord there. So you can see there was the import prices, export prices, retail sales for November, which weren't very good. They weren't horribly bad, but those had just come out and they were not good. And they're kind of saying, is that a possible omen for a bad holiday season? Which I think we're going to see huge online sales, a lot of record numbers there, but I don't think there's going to be as much big spending. So that I think we'll see that come out in January. So that could be definitely something to watch for. And then the other numbers that I'll be watching for will be at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., especially 1 p.m. That'll be the oil numbers. You can see that oil, crude actually hit a high of 60 today, which is incredible. But then it pretty much gave back all of those gains already in the last couple of hours since it hit those highs early this morning. So yeah, so some of the other stuff that was going on I put in there. So Costco, it actually did okay on its earnings. It also had a price target upgrade to 288 this morning, so that was good for Costco. We've been watching that one for a while now. I mean, I've been watching it for a while, but we've been playing it and watching it for the last probably, I don't know, it's probably been the majority of this year, I think. Vince Holdings actually grew. Good Times Restaurants did all right. They did lose a little bit more than they thought, but they had better same-store sales. Where's a couple other ones? So PG&E Corporation, PCG, that we've all been watching, they filed an amended plan of reorganization with the bankruptcy court on its Chapter 11 cases. The plan reflects PG&E settlements with all major groups of wildlife claimants and keeps PG&E on track to achieve regulatory approval and bankruptcy court confirmation in advance of the June 30th, 2020 statutory deadline. So that's what DT and I have been talking about a lot over the last couple weeks, and that's something that we'll be continuing to watch. And the reason, you guys, and I'll talk about this more this weekend in Discord, but why, when they had this huge settlement, why it went up is because they finally, investors and shareholders finally actually have a number to put to that. So the fear of the unknown, right, is always going to be more overwhelming. So now that there's actually a number there that they can kind of a tangible number, they can actually push onto that. Charles Schwab upgraded to outperform, ticker symbol SCHW. I know we've been talking about that a lot lately, so that was one I wanted to point out. So some of the ones that we were watching this morning that I had posted in there, Adobe also posted earnings, Oracle posted earnings. I put those in there, and then the movers were Nvidia, Tesla, and Roku. So those will be a couple of names I'll be watching out of the gates. Obviously, you'll be watching heavily on XLF to see if we get any indication what we're going to be doing here. I'll be watching bonds and gold for any divergence indication. I'll be watching the FANGs. Obviously, Facebook had a big dip yesterday, even with everything else being strong. They had some negative news come out. So I'll be watching that for a possible bounce back up. The dip play is kind of already over on that, but it'll be interesting to see where that goes. So I'll be watching all of the FANGs. I'll be watching Boeing had some negative news. So they basically, the 737 deal they had with American Airlines is now pushed indefinitely. I believe it was scheduled for, I have it somewhere in here, I think it was scheduled for like April, and now it's pushed out indefinitely. So obviously they don't know what's going to happen with that. And then, and then Tesla, obviously there's been a lot of news back and forth on Tesla. So that'll be interesting to see what happens today into the weekend. I'm trying to see what else I had on here. There was so much stuff. There was so much news, but there was only, there's only certain things that really matter to the market and matter to what we're looking at. There's a lot of other little news, but things that really matter is what I'm trying to pay attention to and trying to get you guys to mostly look at. So yeah, it was, Boeing's grounded 737 MAX jets off its schedules through April 6th. So there we go. That's what it was. So I'm sorry, I had that backwards. I had said it the wrong way. So Snap also in the news. Snapchat parent was upgraded to outperform from market perform at JMP Securities, which cites optimism about Snap's ability to grow its users base. Another big thing I'll be watching too in the coming days, weeks, Lyft. The ride-hailing service has begun offering car rentals through its app, with the service initially available in the San Francisco Bay Area and in Los Angeles. The news could impact shares of rental car companies like Hertz and Avis, and it actually, Hertz was down this morning, which is ticker symbol HTZ, so I was also watching that. What else was there on here? There's so many little things, and there were some earnings. So yeah, so those are the big things, guys. Obviously, the trade deal being the biggest. The fiasco continues Friday the 13th. So it's kind of, we were kind of joking about it yesterday, but there you go. And then then the UK Parliament thing. So there would have been a few plays yesterday if you would have been anticipating this on some of like the British banks that jumped pretty high, but that would have been pretty hard to play. There were some huge jumps in the Asian market last night, so I find it very, very strange in quotes that they didn't come out with this news last night and they allowed their futures. Their stock markets jumped huge. Some of them were over almost 3%. They were like 2.6%, 1.5% in the Hang Seng. I posted that really late last night, so I'm sure a few of you saw, or you could go back and see it in there. So it's just interesting to see how that works. And then, like I said, you guys, here in just a few minutes when the market opens, China is holding that press conference about the trade deal. So there's going to be some crazy news flying around. This is going to get really choppy. I would suggest, depending on where your positions are and your hedges are, play very guarded, play defensive. Again, I'll be watching bonds and gold for clues. Be watching what I watch every morning, the add divergences and ticks. And then I'll be watching all of the FANG stocks as I go through them. So I'll be flipping back and forth between the pages pretty quick this morning. Just really more, not necessarily looking for plays right away, but more watching to see where the direction and what's going to happen as this news comes out. And then some single names will be NVIDIA, Tesla, Roku, AMD. AMD also had a few positive news articles this morning, and with the new Xbox release news coming out. So AMD I'll be watching also. Yeah, so basically those FANGs and bonds and gold for divergences and clues, and then actual trade ideas. Be looking at NVIDIA, Tesla, Roku, and AMD as of now, and that's just trying to keep it as simple as I can. I know it's not that simple, so I apologize, but yeah, so you guys, let's be careful. Yeah, and ATG is posted back to 3150 we go, and that's no joke. We really needed to hold this 3170. That 3170 became a pivotal point last night, or yesterday, sorry, and last night. But so yeah, I agree. If the sellers can grab a hold of this, we could pull it all the way down. But as we've seen over the last few weeks, sellers have just been absolutely weak and inefficient at pulling this market down, given huge chances. Just like right now, this is a huge chance for them to pull this down, right? So I do think we could get down to there, and then a possible dip, buy the dip type scenario. I don't see a big run up this morning unless something comes out that they absolutely signed it, and those are news catalysts that there's no way to really nail 100%. I'm gonna grab one more cup of coffee. I'm going to run around in circles, and then I'll be back on here in just 2 seconds before the bell goes. You guys, I suggest you do the same. Get ready. This is going to be a very crazy morning, a very crazy end to a crazy week. I'm proud of everybody in here. You guys have done really great this week. It's been a crazy hard week. There's been a lot of other things going on just outside of the market. But yeah, so just play defensive, be smart. Don't chase. Do not get FOMO. Other than that, I'll be right back, guys, in just 2 seconds here. Alright, guys, here we go. I was also watching Lulu, by the way. I forgot I had that on my watch list for this morning, guys. But, yeah. So here we go out of the gate. Let's watch the craziness ensue here, friends. See where our add divergence line kind of starts off here. So you can see the VIX had gone down. I was actually wanting to get a couple more long contracts in the VIX because it had gone under 13, but we're already back up to almost 14 after all that big drop there. After these two drops this morning, it already pushed the VIX back up over to 14. So, I mean, I'll still be watching that. So there we go. Our add divergence coming in, starting at negative 185. So a little bit lower than I was expecting. I thought we'd be under zero. I wasn't sure, but. And there we go. We're just going down, so negative 219. So we're just really dropping here out of the gate. So it'll be interesting to see if the Bears can take control. If the Bears, if they can pull this off, we could see a big down day. They've been super inefficient though. But I mean, that number 3150 is absolutely critical. If we can get to that, that'd be a big day for the Bears and the sellers going into the weekend. But they've been so inefficient, it's going to be a battle. I mean, they're definitely going to have their work cut out for them this morning. So that'll be interesting to see what actually what transpires here this morning, guys. So just be careful. Watch out for this chop. It's going to be a choppy day. I'm trying to see some other plays as this go. It's just everything is moving all crazy right now. Things are all over the place. There were so many things that were so up yesterday. And there was things that had not moved at all that kind of tried to catch up this morning pre-market, and now they're just dropping. You can see the VIX there as the market's kind of pulling back up, but the VIX is just ripping back up now to 14, already 14.13 as we're pushing up on the divergence line. We hit a low of negative 240. We're sitting at a negative 182. So that is trying to pull itself back up a little bit, but it's going to definitely going to be a very choppy few minutes here at the beginning. Let's check in on our futures map and see what's kind of moving around here on the... Yeah, you can see gold and bonds are still not budging too much off of their push up here today. So that's going to be something I definitely watch. Oil losing quite a bit of steam, though, this morning. XLF down a little bit, too. So I will check in on the individual bank names here in just a minute. Let me see where we're starting the day off on the watch list. So Costco, AMD, Target, Cirrus, Activision, Wells Fargo, Starbucks, Roku, Facebook, Caterpillar, Walmart, and AT&T all being my losers for the morning so far. And then everything that's being up is UPS, the VIX, Tesla, Baidu, Beyond, Netflix, Disney, Baba, Qualcomm, and Boeing actually up just ever so slightly, 50 cents. So don't see if that holds on to that, but... Man, that VIX is just not slowing down this morning, is it? It is just not giving back what it wants to give back here. I'm going to check in on a couple individual names. Let's check in and see what the FANG stocks are doing. Let's bring these up a little bit. So you can see Facebook continuing to drop down. They're already down about almost 1%, so $1.67. Apple giving back most of its pre-market gain. You can see it actually hit an all-time high early this morning, late last night, 273.83. Amazon dropping also off of a high of 1770. Netflix had hit a high of $300.20. It is actually trying to pull back up, getting bought back up here a little bit. Google chopping pretty much straight across. You can see it didn't do much after yesterday's close. And Microsoft actually hitting a high of 154.12. Giving back most of those gains this morning and down just ever so slightly. So there's our FANGs for the moment. I will look back at those. You can see Boeing being saved on the lower Celt there on the 4-hour. Roku making a bit of a push up here, still in the red, but being bought up, making a little bit of a push again off of the lower Celt. Activision is starting to sell off a little bit after hitting that high of 58.81. Shopify, I'm really interested in watching Shopify going into next week, because you can see after that big rip, it's had this nice consolidation all week, the last half of the week. And so on the daily, and I'll get to that here in a little bit, I'll show you that it's actually bull flagging. So I'm definitely be watching Shop. Nvidia selling off just a little bit after hitting those highs of 224.80 yesterday. And Tesla already pushing up for over $4 at 364.28 and then some as we're going. Baba selling off a little bit, but it's got some support here on the upper Celt on the 4-hour. Baidu selling off pretty quickly, but also some strong support not only on the upper Celt, but there is a price level there, and then it's in its channel. AMD giving back some of its gains from hitting that high yesterday of 42.62. Kind of anticipated on AMD, but it'll follow along with what the market's doing. Qualcomm still up, only about 4 cents right now, but still a pretty good run from Qualcomm. You can see there from earnings. I mean, it's just pushed up from $79 all the way up $89. So $10 on an $80 stock is pretty dang good. Disney finding support on the 14MA on the 4-hour, but it's starting to lose that as I speak. And McDonald's bouncing off the upper Celt on the 4-hour and giving back any of its pre-market gains as well. Yeah, you can see gold and the bonds, you guys, just continuing to push up here, even though the market is pushing up a little bit off of this dip. That is definitely a bearish signal that the bonds and gold are continuing to be pushed up while the market's pushing up. There's a bit of a divergence there. And oil continuing to sell off at 59.39 now. It's still in the green, but I don't think that's going to last for much longer. I see that most likely going away. So the add divergence line pushing up nice and strong here, up from a negative 244 now to negative 73. So that is, pretty strong signals there. But this is just lending itself to that choppiness. I know you guys have heard me talk about this before, that when it's around the zero line, that is absolute 50-50. That is choppy. You've got half the stocks in the red, half in the green, right? So what happens is we end up getting these just complete range stuck days. So that's where we're sitting right now. This needs to either go one way or the other to get like a trend going, right? So the VIX is pushing back down a little bit off of the high here. I think it hit 1434, 36, something like that. Dropping a little bit. You can see though we've been ticking down significantly in the Russell. Russell is completely super weak this morning. Which it's been diverging away. I have a really important chart I want to post in Discord this weekend. I've been trying to clean it up a little bit, but explaining the huge divergence in the Russell compared to the other markets from basically started around this summer, and it has not caught back up. And usually the Russell does slow down generally in the summer. That's a thing with small caps, right? But it's a huge difference this year, and I want to show that going into 2020, because I think there might be a really good buying opportunity there in a couple of different ways to do it. I don't play small caps, but I definitely play the Russell. So you can see the S&P here, you guys, right here is this one. It's always the yellow. It's yellow and blue depending on the tick colors, but it's actually starting to tick up. And the NYSE is starting to tick up, so that's actually a stronger signal. But this add divergence line is just kind of bouncing all around here in the low negative 100s, 200s to zero line. So that's going to be fighting. That's what we're seeing right now, and you can just see it here in the market where they're just battling for this. Shopify starting to turn things around. Tesla still just pushing up. Tesla up over $5.31 now already this morning. Wow. Okay, so now they're saying the China press conference is at 10 a.m. Eastern, and that's canceled. So I will try to find a non-copyright signal to watch on here with you guys. If not, I will post it. The link in Discord here shortly, so that we can maybe watch it and discuss it as things go on. So that'll be interesting to watch. So let me look around and see if I can find it somewhere there, guys. So yeah, China says briefing delayed a half an hour to 10 a.m., which means it will begin just as the House Judiciary Committee is being gavelled to vote for articles of impeachment. Yeah, that's the other thing I didn't bring up this morning. That continues this morning too, guys. I forgot to bring that up too. So that'll start here in 20 minutes. Both the impeachment and the this China news conference. So let me see here. I'm trying to find. Here, guys, give me just a minute. I'm going to try to find the link for this. 1 second, guys. I'll be right. I'm still here. Just give me a second. Okay, I think I found it. So, well, I think this is the one. Yeah. Okay, here it is. So yeah, we'll watch this when it comes up here in a few minutes, guys. I'll keep it on standby. I'll watch it on the other monitors, but and then once it gets ready to go, we'll bring it up and see what they have to say here. Let me go ahead and mute that there. But yeah, so hopefully I got it. I will post the link over in Discord as well, guys. Just give me a minute here, but be interesting to see what they have to say. It's strange how that's been going this morning. So I feel like because they're playing that game, right? Like they're trying to play the game where they both know that we've got kind of each other against the fence here. So it's like, I think I was saying this last night in Discord about how they they don't want the wording to be released to the public, because I'm sure they're conceding a bunch of stuff that they've been probably both posting, and telling us on both sides that, they're not going to back down and they're not going to do this, and they're, so be interesting to see what China actually has to say to us today. So the ad divergence line kind of holding out here, like I said, still kind of stuck in this range here this morning. As the market kind of just literally, to the epitome of the word, just chopping around here around. So I think they're kind of, I guarantee this is kind of waiting for this China word to come out and see what they have to say to kind of start moving things. The Dow is up slightly. The NASDAQ is up slightly. I mean, 0.01%, 0.06% relative. And then the S&P is being down just about $1 right now. So you can see we're kind of ticking down here in the Russell and the NASDAQ at the moment. But everything is just super choppy this morning. That's why the VIX is just going to be hanging around this $14 area here pretty much all day this morning. Roku starting to push up pretty strong here, already up over 2%. Shopify up 1.7%. UPS 1%. Nvidia almost 1%. So Tesla hitting a 2019 high, by the way, guys. I forgot to mention that when we were looking at that just a minute ago. So that is very interesting. You can see bonds and gold there on the right-hand side holding up pretty strong. Oil kind of just hanging out with that little bit of a sell-off this morning. Facebook continuing to just hold off that sell-off. Netflix kind of brought itself back to life. Google just still kind of chopped across, but slowly selling off. Apple trying to get pushed back up here. I mean, it's going to be hard for Apple, sitting around these all-time highs. So it's right there. There's a lot of profit taking, but there's a lot of people that, there's still a lot of room for Apple for growth in 2020. I absolutely believe, and I know there's many others who do too. Microsoft, Amazon, basically the same as Google, just slight selling off, but just ticking kind of sideways. You can see Roku here, just nice big push right off the lower Celt and just pushing up here. If it breaks this middle Celt, there's going to be a nice big run in Roku today, so not too surprised there. Shopify pushing up over that upper Celt, so kind of as I was talking about with the bull flagging there, starting to push up nice and strong. Same with Nvidia, hitting a high now of 226.24. Tesla hit that 2019 high of 365.21. So that's pretty crazy to think that they came all the way back, with those pretty big loss this year. I mean, it's already up. I mean, I think it dropped to like we'll have to look at it here in a second, because I think it's up over, since that drop, it's up over like 150%. So that's pretty crazy to see that and something like that. You can see Baidu just selling off, continuing this morning. Qualcomm giving back some of those gains from this morning. McDonald's coming back to life a little bit. AMD also kind of being bought up a little bit. And BABA also bouncing right off the upper Celt. So that's definitely going to be a choppy morning, guys. So I have taken no positions. I haven't gotten out of anything yet. I'm still holding my Skyworks and Qualcomm calls and a few. Those are my short terms. I mean, I've got a lot of long term stuff, but nothing else short term. I'm trying to look on the other account here. That's it. Oh, I guess I'm short XHB and TLT, but those are more medium term anyway. So we got about 10 minutes till that conference is supposed to happen here. I'm going to see what they're saying yet. Nothing at all. Okay. So it's just kind of sitting there where Let me grab that and send that over to you guys in the Discord. So if you guys want to watch it on your own as well. Here, give me just a minute, guys. Oh, dang it. I just lost this. Ah, there it go. There we go. All right, let's see here. Okay, guys, I posted that China news conference link there in Discord for anybody that wants to watch it on their side. I will probably pull it over on screen and watch. We can kind of watch correlations if it spikes up or down, see what they have to say. That's crazy. I'm watching the thing on Lyft, and they're talking about that the Lyft thing, they might not charge for gas. How is that even possible? For the car rental service. Man, that new Xbox is so sick. The Series X. Spartacus posted it last night, and now I'm fanboying over it. God, it's beautiful. I love all the options on it with the 4K or 8K. It's all backwards compatible. I mean, what an amazing idea. All right, let's see here. Wow, what a weird... Look at this crazy tick. That is so bizarre how it's just all of a sudden just ripping, ticking up. That's so weird. I've not seen a move like that. I've actually had this week... There's several charts I have where I've literally seen some absolute bizarre candlestick shaping. It doesn't really matter, but it's just like some of the weirdest looking, dirty, nastiest charts I've seen in a while this week. You can see the VIX starting to drop a bit here as the divergence is pushing up. We did hit a low of negative 370. Market trying to tick up a little bit here, and it is ticking up and it's being bought up at the same time. So, you know, pretty inclusive. I mean, it's probably because they're going into this news conference, and so, you know, sellers losing a little bit of steam there. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what actually happens in this conference, if anything even happens. I mean, I don't know. Is it essentially is the bad news already out and been baked into today? Or if they just confirm everything is BS, is it just going to drop? And at the same time, you know, those tariffs are supposed to go into effect here on Sunday, so I feel like they have a lot to lose too, you know, especially. But at the same time, Trump is the one who came out and said it was all BS, so really they'd just be agreeing with him. But I don't know if the market's, you know, going to be ready for that. Wow, he's really pushing up here pretty good here before this. Let's see here. I want to check in on some of these and see what's going on in the bonds. But yeah, still bonds and gold not giving back any of those gains, so that's still a pretty significant indicator for me to be watching out for, because they have not come off almost at all. Facebook coming back to life here. Google, all the FANGs except for Amazon, all kind of coming back to life here. Apple kind of sitting around where it has been. But Google starting to push back up. Facebook pushing back up. I did hit a low of 193.86. Boeing started continuing to push up. Find a little bit of resistance here on the 14 MA on the 4 hour. Roku pushing up still, but did come off a little bit of its high so far. Shop, you can see there in the lower left corner, having resistance on the upper Celt on the 4 hour. Nvidia still pushing up. It did hit a high of 226.24, like I said, but it's still up. What is it? Still up $1.47. Tesla giving back a lot of those that big run up to 365.21, and then it seems like probably a lot of maybe some profit taking, which no surprises there. I mean, you can just see this run all the way from 327 to 365, and that's just literally in 1 week. So, you know, not too surprised to see some of that happening. I could see it depending on what happens here at the market also. I mean, Tesla's obviously quite independent of the market, but could see it continuing to push up this morning. So McDonald's continuing to push up here, trying to get itself out of the red. It's going to have a lot of resistance there on that upper Celt though. So that's going to be a lot of resistance to push up. Baidu actually continuing to sell off about at the same level as last time. Disney kind of pushing back off of its gains that it had made there. It was doing all right, and now it's kind of coming back off, selling off. Baba, it looked like it was coming back to life, but I don't see it holding. It really needs to hold that upper Celt, but on the 4 hour here. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in just a couple minutes with this this news briefing. So the S&P is back in the green here, up 0.11% right now, as of now. On my watch list so far, Shopify being the leader at 2.24%, Roku at 1.3%, UPS at 1.3%, Beyond at 1.14%, and Nvidia and Netflix both at about 0.84%, and Tesla at 0.76% still. Let's see what my losers are. The VIX, Costco, AMD, Facebook, Activision, Baidu, AT&T, Cat, and Home Depot still down. Okay. Oh, I wish I understood Chinese. I really should learn that language to be a better investor. All right, I think they're going to get started here, guys. Are we not going to get... Dang it, are we not going to get... I hope there's some interpreters. Obviously, she was just introducing, but... I'm trying to decide which one I don't care about. Yeah, I can see the tick chart on there, so who cares?
女士们、先生们、记者朋友们，大家晚上好！欢迎大家出席国务院新闻办公室新闻发布会。经过中美两国经贸团队的共同努力，中美第一阶段经贸磋商取得重大进展。为此我们举行新闻发布会，请国家发展和改革委员会副主任林基德。中央财经委员会办公室副主任、财政部副部长廖敏，外交部副部长郑泽光，农业农村部副部长韩俊，商务部副部长兼国际贸易谈判副代表王受文，介绍中美经贸磋商有关进展情况，并回答记者们关心的问题。现在我们先请王受文先生发布中方关于中美经贸第一阶段经贸协议的声明。
It's got to be another one, right? With something.
新闻界的朋友，大家晚上好。现在我先读一下中方关于中美第一阶段经贸协议的声明。经过中美两国经贸团队的共同努力，双方在平等和相互尊重的基础之上，已就中美第一阶段的经贸协议文本达成一致。协议的文本包括序言、知识产权、技术。
All right, guys, I'm going to see if I can find more misinterpretation because that is not going to work and not quick enough.
透明度、扩大贸易、双边评估和终端解决最终条款，共9个章节。
Crap. Wow, the market's really ripping here, though. Look at this go. Look at this baby rip. Jeez. So are they... It must be positive. I can't see anything, though, and this sucks. I don't know what they're saying. Chinese State Council calls it significant progress. Progress achieved in Phase 1. So they're saying this is all positive. Yeah, I can't find anything, though. Sorry, guys, that sucks. Dang it. So I have a feeling the bonds are probably, yep, there they go. Bonds and gold just absolutely just annihilated here after that. U.S. committed to phased reduction of existing tariffs. IP and technology transfer part of the deal. Chinese State Council calls it significant progress. Okay. So yeah, I can't understand what they're saying, but I can read all the transcripts over there. So you can see the VIX just dropping here significantly. The divergence pushing up now to a positive 348, and the market starting to make those big giant pushes up for all-time highs. Remember, our all-time high is still sitting yesterday this morning at 3188.25 in the S&P. So that was a quick change, wasn't it? So there you go. Now it's hard because everything that you'd be looking for, to chase, but there was no way to know. I mean, especially with the way they were anticipating it and then pushing it back, it's just so confusing. So yeah, we want to see this settle a little bit and see what can happen here. Yeah, I'm surprised this didn't rip more than it has, to be honest. Wow. Contracts are moving like crazy. I'm watching in the option chain, and the contracts are just all over the place, up and down. The spreads are massive. I don't know if you guys are. Go look at the SPX contracts are 350 to 510 wide, 250 to 370, like massively wide. Closer in the money. Now they're starting to correct themselves. Okay, that was crazy for a second to watch. They were so far apart. That was nuts. I have not seen anything like that in a while. That was craziness. Wider than a Talladega horse legs. That was nuts. And here we go on continue with the push. Yeah, you can see the divergences here just continuing to push up with a high of 629 now. That is very significant. VIX back under 13 at 1259. Everything ticking up pretty strong here. The options chains are starting to correct themselves as I speak. It was super crazy to watch, though, for a second there. Still pretty wide, actually. Whoa, what the hell? Whoa, what the hell, Photoshop? I don't want you open. That was weird. Ah. Stupid thing. That was crazy. So, yeah, we did not get over that. Did not hit the all-time highs again. Kind of stuck right here at this. And there it goes, pushing back down now. So, and it's really hard. I cannot find any English translated versions of that. Man, what a tricky market. This is just all over the place this morning. Market's still trying to find some direction here. I am looking all over for anything I can see. I thought we might get a significant bigger push off of that, but or sell off. Either way, I thought it might get more of a sell the news type thing, but we'll have to see if this continues to push up here. So everything I've got, Chinese breaking news, everything's pretty much extremely positive deal. Will help boost global market confidence. Have reached consensus on the text of phase 1 deal. They do not want people to see it, though. The text. They don't want people to see what's going on in there. That's crazy. Sides agree to complete last stages as soon as possible. Follow-up procedures. U.S. will follow up on promise to cancel tariffs on phased basis. Agreement is consistent with our goal of reform. Wow, crazy. And then on the other side, Judiciary Committee votes to advance articles of impeachment against Trump to the full House. Man, this thing is all over the place. That VIX, though, just dropped like crazy, down at 9.3% now this morning. Nutty. Wow, that is crazy. That was quick. Let's see. Let's check in on some individual names here. Shopify still leading here, up 2.8%. NVIDIA up 2%. UPS up almost 2%. Oil is trying to make a bit of a change here. Let's go through and look at the charts. So you can see oil turn that around real quick. What a crazy turnaround that was, right? You guys saw all that, how that was down significantly. Now already up $60.48. That was a crazy change in oil. XLF now up also to 30.92. The VIX is down about 9.6%. The NASDAQ pushing up nice and strong. Bonds giving back most of those gains. Gold also giving back most of those gains. So this was a very significant turnaround in all of this right here, which are my leading indicators. So you can see Apple hitting an all-time high now of 274.80. Facebook continuing to push up. Netflix pushing up, hitting a high of 301.80, kind of coming off of that high. Google pushed up. Microsoft hitting a high of 154.31, and Amazon continuing to push up. So everything kind of around the board is pushing up. Boeing continuing to push up, still having some resistance there on the 14MA. Shopify up almost 3% now off of that bull flag, just exactly how we called it out this morning. I mean, that was a picture perfect call out and play, perfectly anticipated. Roku coming off of its highs today. NVIDIA pushing up still nice and strong, hitting a high of 228.98. Activision had sold off, but it's starting to come back up there. Tesla still in the green here, up about 0.7%, but came off pretty good off its highs of 365.21 this morning. Baba in the green. Baidu coming back to life, finally pushing way back up after losing some steam there. It had gone down to like 118, now back up to 121.49. Qualcomm coming back to life as well. Disney and McDonald's still both pushing down, and Disney in the red. AMD now still in the red, but only by 17 cents. So we'll see if that can't maybe turn around a little bit here this morning. So the market selling back off after that big push. You can see the ticks are ticking down pretty harshly here again as the VIX is pushing up to a 1279. I did grab a couple VIX calls for next week, and you can see the ad divergence line dropping down below 600 now at 565. So that's also significant as well, guys. So yeah, this is where you got to be very, very careful getting directional. If you had profits, you need to take them. This is why you can't just hold on to things. When the market moves like this, guys, you get excited to be green, but you've got to sell those profits. If you've got profits up pretty good, this is why traders lose. They get too greedy and they don't sell when they have the chance. They think it's always going to hit higher. Or what happens with, I've seen a few of you guys over in Discord the last couple of days where, I should have held on to this, or I should be holding on to this. That's totally wrong. Absolutely wrong. Just because it popped this one time does not mean that the majority probability says that 9 out of 10 times it will not do that. Just because it happened once, that's how people get FOMO. That's exactly how it happens. That's how it starts. And it leads to be a very, very bad habit, which will turn you into an unsuccessful trader. Because every time you see that, then the next time you want to hold on to it, there was a reason you got out, right? I hope so, at least. There should have been a good reason why you got out of it, and that reason getting out of it, your risk to reward is probably better than holding on to it and just praying to God that it works out, because it may have worked out this one time, but it's not going to work out every time. God, that almost gave back all of that push there real quick. I mean, it's starting to be bought back up because, again, the sellers have just been so inefficient. It's incredible. I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to see if there was anything else negative, but there hasn't been. But yeah, I mean, it came off of there pretty good. It's starting to be bought back up, though. Again, the sellers, they just cannot. They're so inefficient in this market. In the last couple months, it's been pathetic. Oh, that was interesting. I'm not sure what happened there. Phase 1 of the trade deal contains 9 chapters. That is significant. China to cancel tariffs scheduled to take effect on Sunday. Agree to the text, whatever that means, a Phase 1 deal. So there's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on where they have to read back and forth between it because they need to come to a consensus on there. So I understand. China says as its markets expand, China will increase the imports of high quality and competitive products and services, including those from the U.S. U.S. has promised to cancel additional tariffs. Blah, blah, blah. Same. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, obviously it's not actually signed, but it's because they have to have all the wording in there correct. I mean, I understand that. As far as it goes, looking at the option chains on all my indicators, the bear side are still significantly higher elevated. I mean, that's obvious with this, markets being at all-time highs, but not coming off as much as you would expect with the market pushed up like that. But I mean, we're only up 0.29% today. A little bit higher in the Dow, 0.33, and the Nasdaq's 0.39. So I mean, you've obviously got some single names in there. Man, Tesla just looks like it wants to take off. That Shopify trade was nailed. That was awesome. Been really impressed with Shopify, how it's been moving lately. Been amazing. You can see the VIX there still coming off, still below 13, so that is significant. Obviously, below 12 would be very significant, but still quite a bit of risk in here. But the ad divergence line holding this nice 577. can see the ticks are, pointing up and moving, but definitely still a lot of risk in there. No, I don't think the market has found its complete direction. I don't think anybody trusts what's going on. And after all the fiasco last night and this morning, I don't blame anybody. So they're saying that, okay, that makes sense now. So they're going to remove the tariffs in stages. So I don't understand. So then, of course, then there absolutely cannot be anything signed. That's not concrete. That is absolutely, yeah, wow, okay. Snap up 2.56% after that news I read this morning there. Wow, crazy. I mean, it is a pretty significant upgrade, though. Market coming off a little bit off of this big push, just like it kind of has. I'm kind of thinking we're going to be chopping around like this unless someone can grab some control. I just don't, again, like I've been saying, you guys, the last 3 weeks, these sellers are so inefficient. It's just like, and it sucks for me because I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, I know I constantly talk about being, going, I can trade either side, but I am more of a bear when it comes to what I like to trade because of the bigger drops. But these sellers are just so inefficient. It is just so aggravating. Judiciary Committee approves articles of impeachment against Trump, putting him on the path to be third president in history to be impeached. He gets the asterisk, but he also might be saving the economy. So, I wonder if that'll be the next push up after this. I mean, he doesn't have this he won't have this for much longer if they go through with it. So, yeah, so the Chinese officials declined to disclose details on tariff reduction or purchases. That's interesting. Very interesting. Sorry, guys. I took a couple. I'm playing these bounces. I took a couple spies and SPX calls. Actually made 80% and then 50%. I'm trying to set up something longer that I can show you guys because I want to show you guys how to play these end of the week scalps or end of the week butterflies. But this is just bouncing around everywhere, and I can't. I don't want to put you guys. I don't want to put anybody in a situation where it's not gonna, work out. You can see though how this works, right? So for the most part, but scalping is such a bad thing for you guys to learn right now. But these end of the week butterflies, or even if you guys, maybe that's what I'll show you is to do an end of the week sell, do a credit spread. Because you can see how these go down, and as it does this, and you can almost guarantee that, okay, it's here, it's going to stay in this range, and then it might move a rut, you know what I mean? But you got to do it time-wise. But as we get closer to the end of the day, I'm wondering if maybe just small starter positions and show you guys how to do spreads. You know what? I think I'm going to talk to, I don't want anybody to do it yet. I'm going to talk to Darth about this, and maybe that's the next set of videos we will put out where you guys can see how to do that in real time. I got an idea. Sorry, that was really confusing what I just said. I'm sorry, I'm not making any sense, but I got an idea. Man, this thing is just moving all over the place. This is crazy. Yeah, this is some serious chop. I mean, this is crazy choppy. Nobody is sure. I'm sure people are losing steam on this. The other problem is you've got things at all-time highs, so people are wanting to take profits, and going into the end of the year with tax issues and the holidays and with these retail numbers that are just not looking good at all, and we just got a big drop here going now. Man, this is crazy. And then boom, it just pushes up and then drops. And I'm watching the options chains, and it is just bizarre. Just flipping through them, watching the spreads just jump. I mean, the spread all of a sudden was $1.25 to $6.40. That's a $500 spread. Like, what? What is going on? This market is confused as what's going on. Yeah, you guys, this is extremely volatile. This is not, I mean, it's great for more experienced traders and people with bigger accounts, but this is the kind of stuff this is why we're saying, take those profits when you have them, you guys. I cannot reiterate that lesson more than today. Take your profits when you have them. I know it's so hard, and you want to see bigger green, and you see people making these big gains. But at the same time, you got to think a lot of that sometimes is just them getting lucky. And then when you guys are saying that, like, oh, I should have held on, that's the beginning stages of FOMO, right? I mean, these spreads are just bouncing all around. This is absolutely absurd. I mean, I used to have a rule that if I was up after one day of 30 to 50%, I would always automatically take those gains. I mean, obviously, as I've gotten more, grown my account, I've obviously gotten away from that a little bit more. But I mean, you can just see this already. Had I not taken those gains, you guys, right here, I mean, look at this thing, and this doesn't look that significant, but that's $8. That's huge. That's $800 difference on a contract. And when the spreads are jumping as wide as they are right now, like if you look in the SPX and even the SPY and actually do the math, I mean, it's just insane. Especially if you're taking, 10 lots, 20 lots. This is just incredibly ridiculous. I hope you're all being smart and safe. So Trump says the 25% tariff will remain, but new China duties will not take effect Sunday. So, okay. So that's what's going on, and that's what this market is getting all antsy about, is that he's not removing the tariffs. They're just not adding the new tariffs. I don't know what that word was I just said. Sorry. But, good Lord. Well, while this ridiculousness is going on, let's kind of look at some of our individual names. You can see Oil came off of that big old giant push up it hit there at 60.48. It's back down to 59.75. Gold is still somewhat elevated, but only up about $2 today, so that's 0.14%. But still, it's still holding up there. Bonds came back to life a little bit after it had hit the red there. It's coming back to life a little bit, so we gotta keep an eye on bonds, guys. That's always my rule. See Facebook, I cannot talk now all of a sudden. Facebook giving back those gains that it was pushing up on that news. Netflix coming off its highs. Google continuing to chop pretty much sideways. Microsoft pushing up a little bit here, trying to get back up to all-time highs. So its all-time high was today at 154.31. So we're sitting around 154.19. So it is trying to make a push back up towards all-time highs. Amazon, absolutely the choppiest thing I have seen in a while from Amazon. Apple kind of similar to Microsoft, trying to push up towards those all-time highs, which it hit today at 274.80, sitting around 273.96. Boeing giving back a bit of those gains this morning. It had, like I had said, it has significant resistance there on the 14 MA. It's also a price level, a recent price level that became more significant, that it is not being able to push up. We'll see what it can do on the next 4-hour candle that opens up. Roku still it's got room to go, but it is in the red as of now. Activision kind of just sitting in that same spot it has been. I expected more profit taking from Activision this morning after hitting highs. Shopify still holding above that upper Celt off of the bull flag run. I really like Shopify. Gonna stay in that one. Nvidia backing off a bit from its highs, but still looking quite bullish. And the same with Tesla. It is not. I mean, it's not even up 1%, but it had a big push up there and some profit taking. However, Tesla's still looking very strong in my opinion as far as a medium term play. The Asia stocks that I watch, Baba Bidu, both pushing back down off of those highs here a minute ago. AMD giving back some of the gains it had started to push up. Along with Qualcomm, I'm sure there's some profit taking in Qualcomm. Disney and McDonald's still just sitting ever so slightly in the red as of now. You can see the add divergence line making this little sine wave, I like to call it, coming back down now to a positive 199, but giving back quite a bit of these push. It had pushed up to about 690, I think, 687-ish. Now it's back down all the way down to 198. So this is just an ultimate sign of chop, you guys. It doesn't get much more choppy than this. I mean, look at that thing. I don't know how many of you guys do music or mathematics, but look, that's a sine wave. If you drew that out, that's ridiculous. The VIX starting to come back alive there. I'm glad I picked up a couple of those contracts. I'm going to hold on to these, though. I do not think this is even close to being done. Even though when the market pushes back up like today, this thing is not going to drop significantly from here. It's going to probably hold off into this area. I can almost guarantee it. So expand those tick lines so I can see them a little bit better. I really like around this time period we're about an hour into where I can really kind of see what's going on. I need to find a way to code this a little bit better to where I can see this in 30-second intervals. That would be amazing for the first 30 minutes. That's something maybe I'll talk to Snorkel and Darth about, see if they can maybe hook that up for a homie. Sorry, I'm reading some news here. No, I don't care. We don't care. Give us something we can trade off of. That's a great tweet. How many repos will China buy? Breaking China-U.S. reached agreement on text of phase 1 deal. That's great. No kidding, though. I mean, that's what we've been missing, right? So the Fed haven't been to. That's what happened, by the way, and I don't know why everybody made such a big deal about it. I mean, yeah, it sucks, and it's horrible to see as an investor. I mean, as a trader, whatever, but as an investor, it's terrible. But so the Fed had kept bailing out the banks this year, and it's gotten worse and worse over the last couple months with all the repo repurchases overnight. But the reason being is because we don't have China to buy our debt right now. I think people forget that. That's why this has been so important. There's a lot of things that matter with the trade and with commodities being bought by China. But honestly, we have plenty of other places we can sell those. And we've been making deals. I actually live in ranch country. We own a farm in Iowa. And a lot of our family and a lot of our friends that we have talked to about this. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so sorry. Thanks, Darth. Darth's a homie. He's like, dude, your mic just disconnected right in the middle of my speech. That's what happens. I get on my soapbox and I forget what's going on. Yeah, so I'm in like I have like a music studio, and that's what I'm in, and I usually have like my condenser mics up there, but I got a super nice headset from my kids for Christmas, and so I've been using it, and I'm not really used to having this damn cord. I appreciate it, but I think I'm gonna go back to my Beats audio because I got the wireless mic on there. It just sounds like crap. I was digging this thing. It changes colors. Thanks, Darth. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, like I was saying, is just the whole thing with the UK and Japan trade deals are going to be huge for the U.S., especially for farmers and ranchers. I think that has a possible for being something that almost saves us from any other possible scenario like this. I think it's just we've been so dependent on China for so long, right? I think that's where it kind of all comes from. You can see we're hitting a negative here. We're back in the negative 210s. Coming down here, hitting this low of 31.65. So this line here, there's going to be a couple of new, but this 31.68, 31.67 level is going to be significant today. I do think if the bears get control, we could see a low of 31.50, like ATG was saying in Discord. It's definitely a level I have to the downside. I do not see us hitting 31.90 this morning. I do still maintain my thesis of seeing 3,300 by Christmas, around Christmas, I'm saying. I think into January at least, and that's where I'm looking for the big turn that we keep talking about. But I do think, because I think that's when things, especially after New Year's, is when things will start to get look more, a little bit uglier. So the options contracts have pretty much settled themselves and kind of are looking normal again. That was a crazy, crazy change to see, though. Just completely flipped themselves. I haven't seen that in a while. Last December when everything crashed, I saw that. I think it was in May this year. Yeah. Yeah, in May, I remember seeing them just like $10 wide spreads in the SPX, like $4 wide spreads in the SPY. It was like, what in the hell? The only thing is, if you're not even smart, if you're just almost lucky and you're on top of it, you can catch those you can catch all that, like the arbitrage, right? Like you can catch them between there and sell those spreads. But man, it's so hard. But if you can catch them right and sell them, holy crap! That's like a whole skill in itself, though. So these are coming back to life here. So I think this is what the name of the game is going to be today, is just this up and down on these news. This is just going to be ridiculous. This is so hard to play. I mean, it's great to play if you're scalping or bouncing around, but to play it, correctly, ugh. Yeah, so I still think this thing is going to try to push up here hard today, guys. I really think that's what's going to happen now. I was thinking we were going to get bad news and sell off. I think that's what the other generals of the crew I think that's what we were kind of thinking, but yeah, I think depending on what else news comes out of this, I think they're kind of done talking, but now there's going to be a lot of speculation on those. And there was a buyer exhaustion at 31.85, by the way, just so everyone understands. So that's what happened up here. There was a buyer exhaustion right here, and that's where we got this fade off. But now we can, if the sellers can't keep control, which they have been so ineffective lately, we're going to get that next push back up. I was trying to catch that bottom, but damn it, I set my, oh, I hate when I do that. I'm going to show you guys how I do that next week. There's a few things I need to fix, but I mostly trade even options. I trade them out of the DOM on TOS, and I set it too low because I'm watching these spreads, and they've been pretty wide, and I was hoping to catch somebody off guard or whatever and go low, because there's so much liquidity in what we trade, right? That's why me and ATG trade the SPY and the SPX and the VIX, right? And when I trade futures, I always stay in the biggest products with the highest liquidity. That's why when you guys bring up some of these random names, not even you guys, other people too, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of that stuff. I only will trade things with massively high liquidity. And even some of the stocks like FANG stocks or some of these Momo stocks that I watch, yes, if there's a big move that I see coming, I'm going to grab them, right? But for the most part, I want liquidity because I want to get the lowest possible price if I'm buying, and I want the highest possible price if I'm selling, and I want to be able to get out of that thing at a second's notice. I hate putting an order in and then just waiting, unless it's like literally like I buy it and then set my sell, or I sell and then set my buyback in numbers. No, that's fine. But like, I hate waiting. That's where all these crazy bounces can happen. That's how you lose money, right? So I set it too low is what just happened, and I missed it, and it sucks because when I looked at it, it was by 38 cents is what it says, right? It says needs 38 cents or whatever required. That's what it says. Ugh. All right, I might get another chance here though. See, I'm getting frustrated. I need to calm down. I need a drink or to smoke. China to step up protection of intellectual property at its own pace. At its own pace. What? What? The wording on these things. You always wonder if it's like a cultural thing like that where I can't understand what they're saying, but that makes me wonder. Oh, and by the way, the other thing we'll be adding, as of next week, I'll be adding live audio from Discord in here. So you'll be able to hear me, and ATG when he's back on streaming, you'll be able to hear us in live real time. Well, a second delay, but in live real time. And then also, I think during the day at certain time, we will open it up for discussion. I think that'll be really cool to have open audio channel on there where we all could kind of talk to each other. And we'll still have the YouTube streaming, and eventually here, probably after the 1st, I'm going to start paying for this other service where we'll be able to stream to all of our accounts live at once. and we'll still have the live audio through Discord, where we can all open format and talk. I think that'll be a really cool, a really cool feature. Yeah, bottom line, no new tariffs. Existing tariffs remain. Yeah. I really was hoping to hear some more about this UK trade today. That'll probably come into more, I don't even know, next week, but I guarantee you Boris and Trump are talking about it. Yeah, I can't find anything else on it now. And then it's weird because that Japan trade deal kind of has disappeared too. Oh, what are you talking about? There we go. Man, the put sides are still way more expensive. Super high prices. Oh, DT, that sucks, man. Oh, you guy cracks me up. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totes and goats. What the hell is going on here? Wait, what's Jacob asking you guys? I don't understand. I must have missed it. I think I've just got so much going on and I didn't see. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry, Jacob. Yes. All right, I'll answer him. Yeah, I didn't realize he was asking. Yes, man, sorry. First, though, I think I'm going to have the VIX and hedging video. And maybe Darth and I will figure out, maybe he'll put one out too, because I'd like you guys to hear it from maybe both of us. They hear a little bit different opinion. When we're very similar, but it's still good to hear it from two different traders that have been doing this for a while. I think you kind of get a better all-round idea of it, and then you can kind of come up with your own system, you know. But I think it's super important. No, you're not wrong at all, buddy. I'm just an idiot. Thanks, dude. Thanks, DT. I got so confused. There was just so much going on. It was a crazy morning, right? Like, so you see, we're back down to negative 262 on the ad divergence line. We're ticking down pretty strong here. VIX is up at about 1360. I'm surprised it's not back at a 14 yet. Selling off a bit here. I do expect it to probably, the retrace was expected, and then probably a bounce back up. I do not think sellers are going to defend this whatsoever. Wow, that ad divergence line going down to the negative 322. Still ticking down significantly here as the VIX pushes up towards 14. Is there DT? Is there more news coming out? Excuse me? What and where and who? Yeah, I want the deets, son. Give me the deets. Good, bad? Wow, that thing's pushing down hard. Ooh, it wasn't on it. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm watching it too. I got what you're saying, homie. Man, these retests are just like no effing joke. Yeah, House panel approves Trump impeachment. Yeah, I wonder if that's going to have any effect today. It's a pretty critical level here too. I was talking about this earlier, guys. This is if they lose this and the sellers actually step up, this could be that push to 3150 we've been talking about all morning. Very significant here. Also, if they don't keep it under control, this is where this thing could get bought right back up. Red, green, red, green, red, green. I know it's Christmas. It's the Christmas colors. Red, Darth. That was awesome. Red. Oh, that fucking cracked me up. That was fucking perfect. Tesla red. Oh, okay. That was funny though. Fucking market. This is crazy, crazy. Money, baby. Yeah, this is crazy all over the place. This is just getting nutty nuts. Man, my alerts are going crazy in both accounts, and it's getting really annoying because, like, I don't care right now. I almost want to shut them off, but then I'll miss it. Come on, baby. Man, that was a very significant line here, guys. This is where we're talking about, right in here. And you can see they're fighting for it. They want that, but dudes, yikes, yikes. We'll lose that. Wow. They cannot hold on to that. Surprised we haven't hit another exhaustion yet this morning. Oh, and then the big push back up. Jeez Louise, this is craziness. Yeah, I hate when the market has to be so reliant on something like this. It's just all over the place. Still pretty bearish as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the VIX still being up at a 13.56, ticking down here on all four markets. I am hitting a low divergence of negative 491, which is the low for today, sitting at a negative 484 right now. But that's the lowest we've had all day. So you can see this nice little sweat, and we're way down now. And holding that 3165 line is just not... You can see this line I'm looking at, guys. You got this double support here in the morning, and it's kind of retesting this, sitting here on it. That's why I'm talking about it being so critical, because I just don't know if that breaks, it's gone. I mean, they're holding it so far, and they're battling for this thing. I mean, right now, absolutely battling. But that add divergence line is just looking super bearish. Let's check in on some of our futures. Wow, look at those bonds just ripping back up there this morning so far today. That is super bearish, obviously. Everything in the fangs kind of just chopping pretty much straight across. I mean, these charts have been just hideously ugly so far this week pretty much, but today just nasty. Boeing giving back its gains from this morning. Shopify still continuing to push up really strong here, up over 3.68% now, up $13. That was literally couldn't have put that any clearer and beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful bull flag, played it perfectly off the TA as well. Roku still in the red, trying to push back up a little bit. Nvidia giving back those gains from 228 now down to 223.86, 91. Activision still pushing back down off of its highs, and Tesla now in the red off of that big push up this morning. Baba and Bidu not at its daily lows, but still down significantly. Qualcomm giving back pretty much all of those gains this morning and then some. Disney still down, down 17 cents. McDonald's starting to make a push back up, still in the red, but kind of a big run back up here for McDonald's. I mean, not huge, but and AMD still down about 2.3%. So coming off of those highs this morning, 42.95. So off of its highs this morning. So that is pretty significant still. What a choppy day, guys. Just please be super careful. I mean, there is literally an absolute knife fight going on here. This is just a battle. If I couldn't even paint it clearer, this is an absolute battle. So a lot of news coming out now, but it's about the impeachment. So I can't imagine China going along with this, holding those 25% tariffs. Those are I just don't understand. Obviously, there's stuff in there that we just can't imagine seeing. I mean, we've had a choppy few weeks, but this is crazy talk. Crazy choppy. Let's see here. I'm looking at some of my trades, seeing if I want to move anything or roll anything. I think I'm good. I don't ever roll, obviously, anything I buy, but I roll significantly on my sells, and that's why I like selling premium also, is it's quite convenient to roll. Oh my gosh, these charts are crazy on today's expiration. These things are just crazy looking, just massive wicks on the options. Holy cow. I mean, some of these were at $12 this morning that are down to $1.60 now in a matter of 45 minutes. I'm going to back out a little bit so we can see a little bit more of the day going on here. You know, we're at, what is it, 11:09. I mean, we're usually, pretty slowed down by now, but with that 30-minute delay really took this for a spin, didn't it? And this is just crazy. I mean, it could be a full day today, but I'm starting to see volume. You can see here, this volume looks crazy actually this morning in the S&Ps. Look at this, like, got these like perfect little, but we're starting to die down here. If I continue to see this for the next couple of plays, yeah, so we're back down to the low volume of today. So okay, interesting. Huh, interesting. Man, there's those spreading out like huge again. Crazy. Keeps doing that. Yeah, which signifies to me that there's absolutely a huge amount of risk and that nobody is really wanting to stay in here today. I was going to use, I know it's a Friday, so it's hard to say. I was going to use today to redraw some of my charts, and I mean, most of you are pretty good at charting and drawing your trend lines, and I'm really impressed by that. But I was gonna do a little bit of that today, just to kind of show how I look at it and what I look at as far as significant timelines, and then because I mean, I see a lot of charts, and not even you guys, like especially on Twitter, that I almost wonder sometimes. I'm like, why did you draw a line there? I mean, price levels are the biggest thing for me, and price action, right? And then I go to my TA and fundamentals. I've been a fundamental trader my whole career, but you guys, Willie's question too in Discord in here on YouTube too. I actually I've looked at those before, but it's been a while. I actually almost wonder, and I would almost be willing to pay for it for the group, like just pay for a subscription to that just to see for a couple months and see if it's something that's actually worth it. I mean, yeah, I kind of have my strategy and why I watch what I watch and what I play, but I am curious. I'm always down to look for something else that works. So it would be interesting to see, He's got me super thinking about it now. I'm genuinely curious. I almost want to look into it. I know I like Benzinga, and I've been thinking about Benzinga for a while. I watch a lot of their stuff, and I'm pretty into. I think they're pretty well rounded. I know they have some cool software and a really nice platform, and I feel like they're one of the more established names, and I feel like maybe that's worth looking into, and maybe that's where I will look into. I'd like to see what they offer. That's a good idea. I'm gonna look into that this weekend. It can't be that expensive, and honestly, if it makes me one trade a month or two trades a month, that thing more than pays for itself. Right? Especially if it's something that is significant. China Vice State Planner Head asked about commitment on U.S. farm good purchases. Says value of U.S. farm purchases will be disclosed at a later date. Ugh. Phase 2 talks to take action immediately. Really? Well. They won't even show us the wording, but phase 2 is going to take action, huh? Okay. What? I'm going to back out a little bit to kind of see how this... Man, look at this. Is crazy. Look at this ridiculous chart today. What is that? So crazy how pre-market last night. I kept watching this. I was I kept, peering at it. We were working on music, and I just kept looking at it, and I was just like, man, this is like a Christmas light, just back and forth, and it stayed so flat and straight. And then this morning, and I should have known. I mean, look at this craziness. Scalper's dream, I'll tell you that. And here we go again. Just wonder if they're going to buy the dip on this one. It's kind of in the name of the game this morning. Problem is this is not big enough of a buyback for me to want to even grab them. It's because if I'm wrong, I'm risking too much for so little reward. So it's so hard for me to get me in here at these levels. There's a drop. Come on. Man, this line, they are just fighting over this line, you guys. This is just crazy to watch this today. You know, the volume really, I mean, it's low, but it's not as low as you would think. Like, it's, you know, it's not terribly low. I mean, it's low. It's been low for the last 2 months, but... Option chain contracts are tightening up on the spreads. There they go. This is just so back and forth. It's almost too much. I'm too tired for this. Don't got it in me. Man, the bearish those bearish positions are, the puts are way expensive in comparison. They're not that expensive, but let's take a look at some of our names while we're waiting to see what happens here. You can see those bonds are just ripping again, you guys. This is crazy. Look at these things. Up at 158.06 now, again, just ripping back up. Gold still moving up. You can see this huge wick on the hour here, but still pushing back up. And these bonds, I mean, look at this, you guys. This is insanely bearish. This is not good. Oil pushing up just ever so slightly as well. This is a very bearish signal to me. Much more bearish than what the market is doing right now. Let's look at our FANGs. Facebook continuing to push down. Netflix losing all of the gains it had pushed up there this morning. Apple, Amazon, Google, all chopping pretty much sideways. Microsoft up just ever so slightly, but starting to sell off as I speak. Boeing now losing that lower Celt on the 4-hour support. Shopify still up 3.72%, which is $13.83. Roku is still just barely hanging on, but sitting up above that lower Celt. It really needs to hold on to that, or we could see some real nasty business. I'll actually look at Roku, Spotify, Boeing, and AMD on a bigger chart here. You know how I have my bigger charts where I go into depth. I'll look at those here shortly. Activision continuing to sell off. Nvidia starting to try to be pushed back up here a little bit. Tesla continuing to sell off a little bit. Definitely down about $1.43. Gonna be interesting to see what happens to Tesla. We'll look at it on the. We'll also look at Tesla on the daily. Baba Bidu continuing to sell off from its gains this morning. Qualcomm kind of still at the same area. Disney coming back to life a little bit here, holding support now on the 14 MA on the 4-hour, and McDonald's actually being bought back up. AMD continuing to lose those gains, now down almost 2.85% this morning. It really needs to hold on to that upper Celt at least on the 4-hour. It'll be interesting to see when the new 4-hour candles open here shortly. And I will look at those other charts here just shortly. Now at 31.63, this is where I was saying they needed to hold on to. This is where we could start to see get ugly, guys. This was that critical line. You can see that where it's losing it. We're really slipping now. It was very important to hold on to that line. Okay, so I was a little bit wrong. So Tesla's up 106% from the lows in June. Okay, I couldn't remember what it was. I knew it was something significant, but... Wow, the VIX really starting to push up here strong again, over hitting a 1425. At divergence line now, a new low of negative 568 for the day. We're sitting at a 3162. This is getting pretty dangerous territory here for the for bulls. Yeah, that VIX spike was pretty crazy. They're going to really want to save that line. That is, yeah, they need to push back up on that if they want to save this at all today. The Dow down 0.26%, S&P 0.3%, NASDAQ down 0.14%. Starting to tick sideways, starting to build back up on the divergence line slightly as the VIX comes down just a little bit, but it hits, that's over 14, so that was significant. Especially in these bonds. I mean, just pushing up so strong in bonds and gold and oil, continuing to push up here now also. So very significant to watch. The hell? That was weird. My chart just jumped around on the other screen. My third monitor's been being super weird. I'm going to have to do some work on it this weekend. There's been something going on there. I think there's something wrong with my video card ever since I put in all this stuff for streaming. I've had super weird issues on this one monitor. Oh, wow. Okay, I did not... Wow, those ticks are just... Look at the Russell ticking down to... Just so crazy. Correlation, though, just beautifully correlated here today. Sorry, guys. I just constantly reset these. I like to see where we start the day, and I'm constantly moving them back and forth. I'm sorry if that gets annoying. Whoof. Yikes. Fruit striped gum. Hitting lows of the day there at, we did tap 3160.50, I think. Was that right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, that line was critical, that 31.65. This could be the push down to 31.50. You guys, this I mean, I'm not sure, but that was the new lows of the day, both on the ad divergence and in the market. Not highs in the VIX yet of the day because of where we started off. We got that big spike right out of the gate, but getting close. Ad divergence now hitting a new low of negative 607. There it is again as we continue to drop, sitting at 31.60, and there we go. Lows of the day. Yeah, if sellers can grab a hold of this, this is where we could get that get a big pull down here, guys, as we go. There's lows of the day, 31.60. This is significantly, this is important. Hitting lows in the ad divergence of negative 623. VIX hitting up now at 1424. What is the high of the VIX this morning? What was that? 1434. Why does the high say? Oh, wrong candle. Nick, you dummy. 1435 is the high of the VIX today, so we're within 6 cents of the high on the VIX. As we're pushing down to ad divergence, hitting a low of negative 623, and continuing to push down in the in the market. And you can see all the markets kind of ticking in unison here, somewhat pretty well correlated. I mean, obviously the NASI and the Russell broke away, but that's pretty normal. The other thing is, too, guys, I don't know if you guys all know. I forgot to mention this. I need to post this in Discord also. You guys do know that yesterday the contracts, or last night, the contracts changed. So that's why you'll see some different numbers going on with the S&Ps and stuff. So, like, the SPX is at 3157 and the ES is at 3161. And then if you look at different... So the contracts changed from December to March last night, and they actually I think they will be so if you're looking up the December contracts, and this obviously if you guys trade futures, this is really important, but you'll need to actually fully type the symbol for December for /ES. You'll have to actually type the symbol for December, because like this /ES, this is actually going to be the new March contracts as of last night, and then the December contracts are executed on the December 20th. I forgot to mention that. Holy crap, that's actually important, because that's one of those things you guys need to be learning and paying attention to. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I forgot to say that. There, sorry about that, guys. I posted that in Discord. I completely forgot to bring that up earlier. I completely agree. All right, guys, I got to take a phone call with the student. I'm going to do a couple other things. I'll be available, obviously, in Discord. I will come back on absolutely because it is the end of the week for Power Hour most likely, and we will go over some swing ideas hopefully into next week. Please be careful. Please watch getting directional on these changes, but I will be back in just a little bit here to go over a few things in a couple hours, but I'll be available all day in Discord. So, yeah, be careful, guys. Take it easy. I'll talk to you very soon.